Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to look at our daily technical analysis of commodities. We're going to take a look at the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. If you guys need help with anything commodity related or stock market related, you can definitely sign up to finding-value.com, become a platinum member, use discount as coupon code. If you're interested in joining our community, we do have a 5 p.m. Sunday Mountain Standard Time Q&A session that's coming up this weekend. So let's dive in. I'll give you my financial opinions on the markets here on this daily update. So we've got the DXY. Again, we're bouncing at this support level, going across here. We could have a little bit longer term shoulder, head, shoulder type deal going on. But right now in the short term, we are bouncing, heading a little bit higher here in the short term. Is this going to maintain its movement higher? It's tough to say. Looks like we've got some sort of kind of pattern going on here, like a channel of some sort that we're adhering to at the moment. But more or less today, dollars higher. The 10-year yield also higher. It gapped higher in the morning. Momentum is coming back down. That's why it's a red candlestick, although it's an up day. So it was up and momentum's coming back down. We do have other times where if you look kind of across, a little bit of resistance up there, not tons, but we did get a little bit of selling pressure after that gap up today, but more or less it was still an up yield day of 0.84%. TYX basically flat, so we gapped up in the morning and the momentum's heading lower. So are we going to see lower yields tomorrow? I don't know, we'll find out. But we're flat on the 30-year. So we were up on the 10-year, flat on the 30-year, which means that the TYX TNX ratio came back down a little bit, about 0.78%. Gold doesn't necessarily like a higher dollar and this ratio, which is basically the curve was inverting. It doesn't necessarily like that. So gold was down a little bit today. Bond prices also flat for the 20-year bond price. Is this trying to mount a reversal here? We'll find out. Again, we're kind of in a situation where I don't know if yields know exactly where they're going or bond prices know exactly where they're going. I don't think there's a clear-cut direction at this time in any of those. And then the 2-year was up 1.21%. So if we were to draw the yield went up the most as time went on. So it basically got smaller and smaller. So we had large yields on the short term, small movements on the long end of the yield curve. And the curve was inverting today. That is analogous to a little bit weaker gold price. Commodities getting a stark reversal today. Could we head a little bit lower in the short term? Sure, looks like it. That is a reversal candlestick. We call that a bearish engulfing. So we could see a little bit of a pullback here in the short term. The CRB to S&P 500, not as big of a pullback. We're just kind of moving sideways. I mean, it was down 1%, but it doesn't look that bad from this ratio perspective. Gold down $11, but it doesn't look horrible. We've got nice, good, fat wicks in the bottom. So people came in, bought it up throughout the day to create that wick. Generally, if you see a lot of weakness, you're going to see a big down candlestick that finishes very strong. We didn't see that. So there are some buyers out there. People are buying up gold on these pullbacks. Silver heading up a little bit higher today, 0.3% or so, getting that nice little wick at the bottom, actually being quite resilient in the face of an inverted yield curve and a higher dollar. And platinum also heading a little bit higher, up $6 or 0.6% for platinum. The XAU to gold ratio didn't fare as well, down a little bit in the ratio. So we get a little bit of a sell-off in the gold and silver mining companies. We've had a really big run here. Maybe we just need a little cool-off session before heading on higher. GDX down 1.36%. It's not a horrible looking candlestick. It gapped down in the morning and was bought back up throughout the day. So the momentum is to the upside, just like we saw with yields. SILJ, same thing. We're right on support. It's a small opening and closing price, and we've got support in this general vicinity. I can take this line out. It's wherever you get a lot of buying and selling pressure. It's all through these sections through here. Crude oil down 2.21%. Are we going to fill this gap here? You know, some people say, oh, gaps need to be filled. I don't know what the percentage is. Maybe it's 80 or 70% of all gaps get filled. I'm not a gap has to get filled type of guy. I'll be honest there. But maybe we do come back to $75. Maybe it doesn't. I think crude oil looks pretty good from a longer term perspective of this chart here. So it doesn't look horrible. It's still hanging on. Natural gas getting, it's pulling back quite a bit today, 6.34%. I do think that we're going to work our way sideways for a while. We've got a lot of natural gas out in the market, and it's going to take some time to work this stuff off. XOP, yeah, you know me, doesn't look too bad. We gapped down early morning, so we gapped down, and the momentum is heading back higher. That's why it's a green candlestick with a little wick at the bottom. It's not a horrible candlestick. Are we going to work our way back down into $100? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We could pull back here one last time to do an inverted head and shoulders. That's what I'm hopeful for. If we get it, perfect. I'll buy some more. But that's where we're at the moment. It doesn't look too bad here at this second. OIH, still, it's holding pretty resilient. I mean, we have a crude oil down day with natural gas down 6% and crude oil down 2.2%, and energy services flat. Kind of confusing. We've seen strong up days in crude oil where OIH goes down, and then we've seen strong down days in oil, and OIH goes up. It's like, what the heck is going on here? We're also seeing that in XOP to some extent. So we'll see where we're going over the next whatever. It's not going to phase me. I'm a longer-term investor. I'm not a short-term trader. So it's kind of like, all right, bring it on either direction. It goes up, I make money. If it goes down, I'll just buy more. I do believe in the long-term thesis or the long-term demand-supply dynamics in oil. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust doesn't look horrible. I mean, markets were a little bit weaker today. We had higher yields and stuff like that, and it actually, pulled off a 1.34% up day. It's right on support. We'll see where this thing goes next. It's a battle between the buyers and sellers right where we're at. URNM down a little bit. Not a horrible candlestick. What I like to see, if I were to think that this is just going to tank, I would like to see some big down candlestick momentum. We're not seeing that, especially when we kind of get to this area here. Is this a flag pattern that's going to go down? It very well could. We're going to see a big breakout to the downside if it is a flag pattern that's going to go lower. So I'm just waiting, seeing what's going on, not really doing too much in terms of actions. TAN still squeezing up. It is squeezing to the max, apparently. Down 0.8%, but momentum slightly higher. Squeezing to the max. COPX down 1.4%. This still looks good. Lots of momentum to the upside. Still looks fine. It's no reversal candlestick. Lithium down a little bit, right on support. Again, it's at support. Bigger picture view, this does, we've been bouncing back and forth here, trying to find maybe some sort of pattern or squeezing up at some point for lithium. Rare earth metals right on support as well, down a little bit, but we're right in the line, that long-term blue line here, right at support. SPX moving sideways, really just a sideways day, right on support. We'll see which way we break. And then we've got the NASDAQ right at support as well. Looks like we finished basically the same as yesterday at that resistance support line. Emerging markets, slightly lower, down 1%. We've got the dollar heading a little bit higher today, and emerging markets generally like a tailwind with a weaker dollar. XHB up 0.3%, still looks good to move on up. XHB actually looks pretty strong, like the home builders in general, as weird as it is. We've got MOO. MOO is also down 0.73%. I'm waiting to see if this is going to roll over here. We're right against that resistance line. And then we've got copper. Copper still looks good. If we were to see weakness, it would be closing down at its lows. It's not doing that. It's bouncing off the lows and people are buying it back up, which makes me think that this could go higher, not lower. Lumber up a little bit. I don't know why that's not coming in. That's Mondays, but 1.96% on lumber today. We've got iron ore just moving sideways. It looks like it's trying to put some sort of base down here or consolidation point. Nickel up 0.5%. Doesn't look too bad on the weekly candlestick here. It looks like we could potentially head higher. Aluminum up 0.44%. That's actually quite strong. We were up strong yesterday, so that's a strong showing today. So aluminum looking good. Baltic Dry Index down 3.1%, kind of following oil to some extent. Still basing or moving sideways after this breakout. So I do think eventually we're going to break higher for Baltic Dry Index. Newcastle coal futures still basing out, moving sideways. I think we're going to do that for a little bit before moving back higher. And then Ethereum getting a lot more selling pressure today. We could see further selling pressure. That's a big candlestick, bearish engulfing. Same with Bitcoin, more selling pressure. We could see a decline in the short term for that because that's a bearish engulfing as well. Bearish engulfing is this candlestick here that engulfs the one before it, the opening and closing price, and it's a down day. It's generally a reversal candlestick. But that's what I've got for today, guys. And, we'll see where we go. I'm just kind of, the market seems like it doesn't know which direction it wants to go. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin looks good and some of them, but copper looks good. Copper looks like it wants to go higher. But some areas of the markets, it's kind of indecisive. I'm surprised that yields are continuing to go up. Maybe it is making that other shoulder, because I'm kind of expecting yields to head back lower. We're seeing resiliency in gold prices when dollar goes up and yields go up. So it makes me think that people are still buying physical metals, and that's all holding up. But again, if there's fear in the market, yields drop. If there's problems with the bond market, perhaps people are scared of the bond market itself, yields would continue to go on higher. Or if inflation's a problem, yields are going to go on higher and higher and higher. So we're seeing yields go higher, and we're seeing that resiliency in yields, which is, I don't know, it has me a little bit, not really confused, but just surprised, a little bit surprised that we're seeing yields continue higher. I thought we were in a weaker market, but we're not. Housing starts also was quite strong. So the markets might be stronger than what most people think. Everyone thinks that this big recession's coming, that we're going to go lower. And, I'm not convinced of it yet. I'm kind of remaining neutral. Yeah, I hear it, but I don't see it in the charts. You got to see this in the charts. And I'm not yet convinced at this time that it's 100% in the bag. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. Thumb up for the content, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time. This is Finding Value.